Well, good morning, guys. Just thought I'd show you what the view looks like. Laying here in the rooftop tent. I left the side of the tent open all night, and that's what I woke up to. I've been awake for about an hour, but I've just been chilling. We've got really good cell reception here, so I've been catching up on stuff, watching some YouTube, and just relaxing because, no schedule, no hurry. Anyway, that's not a bad view to wake up to. My little thermometer said it got down to 46 in the tent last night, at least over there by the door. So yeah, I'm probably just gonna hang out for a little bit until I feel like getting up. I don't know how long. And then we'll get moving. I'm gonna drive up to Delta Junction today and do this part of the Richardson Highway because I've never actually driven this road before. And then I'm just going to turn around and go back down, and then we'll figure out what I want to do after that. Stopped off to check out the campground at Paxson Lake. And came down to the boat launch. Gorgeous day. A little chilly still, but pretty nice. Alright, saw this next to the road. This little great platform deal. Lets you go out over whatever river this is. Haven't read the signs yet. Oh, look how clear that water is. So we're starting to get up into the more scenic part of the Richardson Highway, which is why I was coming this way. You can see the highway's going to head up into those mountains over there. But also, look, you can see the Alaska pipeline. Alright, this lake is called Summit Lake. That river that I was just at drains out of this lake. I think that platform was there for when the salmon get up here, but I didn't see any, so they're probably not up here yet. But this water is really clear, just like that. Just like that river was. It's also going to be really cold. There was an abandoned homestead or something down around the corner there. Not sure why. There was several buildings, a house, and what looked like a big garage, workshop, and a couple of other buildings. But there are also cabins up on the hillside down towards that way. Alright, time to get back in the truck. It's chilly. The wind's blowing. I got my hoodie, my beanie on because it's a little nippy. The Land Cruiser says it's 48 degrees outside, and the inReach says we're currently at 3,255 feet. It's still 1,000 feet less than where I live in Utah, but the elevation here in Alaska makes a huge difference in terms of weather and temperature. Check it out, guys. That's the Alaska pipeline headed up the hill over there. It's underground back where I'm at, but it comes out of the ground to head up and over that hill. Normally, when the pipeline comes out of the ground, that means there was permafrost that was too shallow right there. I don't know if that's the case for the hill or not, but that's normally when the pipeline is out of the ground. It's because of permafrost. Pretty cool. Here we can get a better view of the pipeline from this next pull out. See, it comes out of the ground right at the base of the hill there, and then heads up and over the hill. Oh yeah, so I just pulled onto the highway right after that last pull out, and then it's like, boom! Mountains! That is incredibly steep. But thing is you can see how it's kind of curved as they come down to the bottom. And also based on how kind of roly-poly the mountains and hills are down here, this whole valley was carved out by a glacier. But it didn't quite get to the top of the peaks. That's why the peaks are all still jagged like that. I know I keep saying this, but video does not do this justice, guys. Yeah, guys, I saw something cool back here. I pulled off, walked back about a quarter mile so you guys can show you what it is, but man, can't believe I've never driven this road before. It's just absolutely spectacular so far, and I think it only gets better from here. This is also not what I stopped to come back to look at, but this cute little waterfall into this absolutely crystal clear pond. Here's part of what I walked back to look at. Looks like a beaver dam to me. Except there's something bright orange caught up right there. That's garbage. It looks like it might be a road sign actually that blew in there. Now that I look at it, I think I can see some writing. Either that or the beavers drug it in there. Who knows? This is what I walked back for. The old long beaver dam. I don't see their house anywhere. It could be a little bit further up in the pond. I'm going to wander up a little bit further up. That's pretty cool. There's a third beaver dam, a little bit more further upstream. This is that same one I was just looking at here. But possible that this hillock over here, the grass growing on it, is their house. Can't really tell, but that looks like it's made of piled up sticks, so it's entirely possible. Anyway, pretty cool. Now I gotta walk the half mile or so back to the Land Cruiser. The sun came out from behind the clouds. It suddenly got a lot warmer. I'll leave the beanie on for you guys. You don't want to see how crazy this hat, beanie, hair, bed head is getting. Lift, right, lift. Just pulled off at this big pullout, which is obviously intended for you to stop and see the pipeline. Goes off that way south towards Valdez. To my right is north towards the slope. I got this cool information panel provided from the pipeline company. So I'll just kind of scan over this so you guys can pause the video to read it if you want. It's talking about how the pipeline sits on these skids so that it can account for movement of the earth, earthquakes, permafrost, frost heaving, stuff like that. How they deal with animals. say pretty cool a lot, but I don't know if there's another word that best describes Alaska, except pretty cool. So you can see here the pipeline sitting on these big steel skids, so it can move back and forth with movement of the earth and stuff. There's a big sign down there that says, "Please don't climb on the pipeline. They don't want you to climb it." Here you go. Not because they're worried about you breaking the pipeline or anything. They're just like, it's slippery. You could be injured. So now they have a sign up there. They're absolved of any liability if you decide to climb up on the pipeline and get yourself hurt somehow. All right, let's keep on trucking. Found me another scenic pullout. I also just drove through the real life Misty Mountains. That's cool. Good spot to stop and take a picture, but the only thing it could remind me of. Signs about bison. You guys pause the video to read that. Let's go out here and look at this view, guys. Just unreal. And windy. Get your heart out, New Zealand. Alaska's got the real Misty Mountains. More views? Yes, please. Stopped at another pipeline viewpoint. You see right here it's underground, but they still have these posts with these radiators on top. What that does is to help dissipate the heat. Oil as it transfers from the pipe to the posts to help keep the permafrost from freezing up, or from melting, excuse me. See, it dives under there to go under the road. And anytime you see the pipeline above ground, the supports are going to have those radiating fins on the top. Here's some facts about the pipeline. More facts. Talks about elevating the pipeline with the radiator fins on the top. Going up and down and zigging and zagging. And some throughput. Yeah. Been very important to Alaska over the years. Very important. Well, had to pull over. There's an oversized load coming. This is not a bad little scenic pullout to wait for this oversized load to go by. Second pilot truck, whatever oversized load. The lady back at the last construction place that I stopped at said there's some bridge girders coming, so one assumes that's what it's for. And those people were ignoring the pilot cars. bridge girder. Ooh, look at that thing. She's long, boys. All right, get back in the truck. All right, guys, we got the second oversized load coming up here in a minute. I'm just gonna start filming right now because I don't know when it's gonna pass us exactly. I'm not going around this Allegro until it gets past us. There it is. Zoom. All right, that's fun. Guys, in Delta Junction, decided to swing by the visitor center since I haven't been here in a while. Here's the sign. You guys pause the video to read that if you want. Here's the mile marker. Looks like they are working on it. That's not nearly as fancy as it usually is. Like I said, I haven't been here in a while though. Also, watch out for bison beating up your old RV and some Alaska-sized mosquitoes. Alright guys, I did dip into the visitor center there for a minute and bought a sticker for my laptop just as a little souvenir. Didn't film any in there because the gift shop was full of tourists. There's a Premier Alaska Tours bus parked here, and it was crammed full of people in there. So didn't do any filming, but I did pick up this cool sticker for my laptop. All right, so now I think the plan is I'm going to actually drive from Delta Junction to Tok. It's about 2 hours by bus, maybe 2 hours by car. I don't know, we'll see. But yeah, I'm gonna head to Tok because I do want to drive a bit on the Alaska Highway while I'm up here. This is the section I did not drive when I moved up here last year because I turned off at Tok and took the Tok Cutoff Highway, which is what I'm going to do today now that I'm driving from Delta to Tok. And then I'm going to grab the Tok Cutoff Highway, and there's a few spots to camp down the road. We'll see what we come up with. And there's also a pretty decent Verizon service for, I don't want to say like 2/3 of the road. That's the plan, and we'll see where we end up tonight. Alright guys, on the Alaska Highway once again. Here's the bad part about this section of the Alaska Highway. It's very straight, very flat, very boring. At least the fireweed looks nice. Shiny new road. If I remember right, back in the day, granted this was 15 years ago, there were no passing lanes at all on this stretch. Now I've got at least this section, that's nice. Anyway, 80 more miles of mostly straight road until we get to Tok. Bridge over the Robertson River coming up. Look at that. When I would drive the Holland buses through here, I used to slow down on this bridge as much as possible so everybody could get a look at the Robertson River there. I could do like 20 miles an hour all the way across the bridge. Because it's probably the longest bridge that the guests would have gone over on their entire lane tour. So a little bit of a special occasion, I suppose. Thought I'd show you guys. Drove down in here. I think it's called Crescent Lake. Outside of Tok. Nice. I'm thinking about staying here, but we got no cell reception down in here, and I kind of want to have cell reception tonight, so we'll keep on trucking. Also kind of interesting, when I drove down in here, I didn't stick out there too long because there's a family playing over there, but I'm pretty sure I recognized the wife from one of the YouTube channels that's in this area. So not gonna say who, but I'm almost 100% positive it was the wife from one of those YouTube channels. So kind of interesting. Hey, look, it's Muckluck Land. Everyone's favorite little amusement land that is also the scene of every single slasher teen horror flick. Like, seriously, I'm sure the ladies that run it are nice, but it has a vibe. Alright guys, we made it to Toke Junction. There's the old Westmark right there. Now, housing for the mine that's in the area. And I'm actually gonna go up the road here to Fast Eddie's. All right guys, I decided to stop in Toke tonight. I'm ready for a shower and just not sleep in that rooftop tent for a night. Yeah, not staying at Fast Eddie's. I'm at the Toke RV Park. Decided to come down here, and I don't know if I'll come back again because it's expensive, but it's too late. So yeah, anyway, I'm here. I'm just gonna hang out and relax, take a shower, maybe do laundry, although I think I might wait till I get back down into the valley tomorrow to do laundry. So we'll see what I'm feeling up to, but I'm just gonna hang out and relax for the rest of the day. So we will catch you guys in the morning back on the road. You guys missed it. I totally just filmed an entire segment there while my phone was on photo mode and not video mode. Anyway, as you can see, to recap all of the stuff that I just spent the last few minutes talking about. As you can see, we're on the road. I just woke up in the rental cabin there in Toke this morning and got everything together. Put it in the car, ran around Toke for a few minutes, and then now we're headed down the road. So this is the Toke Cutoff Highway. It leads from Toke all the way down to really close to Glen Allen. And I have driven this highway plenty of times, but it's still very pretty. And yeah, I just want to drive it. So, especially since I already did the Richardson yesterday, and I don't think it's going to be quite as spectacular today as it was yesterday, so we'll go this way instead. The original plan yesterday was to head down this road and just find a place to pull off and camp, but obviously I didn't do that. I wanted a shower and a toilet and stuff. I was going to do laundry too, but I decided when we get down into the valley today, that's what I'll do. I'll find a laundromat and do laundry there. So anyway, the plan is to just drive back down into Wasilla, Palmer. Like I said, do a load of laundry that'll get me through the rest of the trip, and then kind of plan out what I'm gonna do for the rest of the day today and tomorrow. I would like to drive Hatcher Pass because I've never actually driven the Hatcher Pass road, so I'll probably do that. Maybe see if some friends want me to stop by and visit. I'm gonna go run around and look at some more areas where I'm actually interested in looking at land. Yesterday I drove a little bit around Toke. There was some land for sale in the southwestern part of town, but that's a little much. Plus the roads to where those parcels aren't paved or don't even have gravel, so that's gonna be a non-starter for me. Yeah, that's the plan so far. So I'll bring you guys along, and let's see what the day holds for us today. All right, guys, we're back on the Glen Highway, headed down towards the valley. Ready for some views. I know I keep saying it, but it's just unreal. This view is just down the road from the other one, but this one might be even better. I like it when the mountains are a little stormy, a little misty. I might like it more than if everything was clear and blue skies and everything. I don't know. Is this me or anybody else prefer it when the weather's a little grumpy? There's something else interesting that I've been noticing as I've been stopping and getting out and exploring and taking pictures and stuff. But I don't know, it's weird. I get out and I'm like, it smells like Alaska. I don't know how to describe it. But you just get out and you take a deep breath of the air up here and you're like, it's just, I don't know, it smells like Alaska. I've done a lot of exploring in the desert and mountains of Utah, and the mountains of Utah don't remind me of that. Like, I'm like, oh, it smells like pine trees and mountains. I don't know, it's just something in the air, the wind, the water, the weather, getting closer to the ocean. Just, I don't know. It smells like Alaska in Alaska. Who knew? We're getting liquid sunshine. Nice and sunny outside. And it's raining. It's good. Clean all the bugs off the windshield anyway. Alright guys, we made it into town. Currently sitting in Palmer at a laundromat called the I Did a Wash. Seem to have good reviews on the old Google. So I came over here and yeah, it's a pretty nice clean little laundromat. So I got a load of laundry going in there right now. It's probably going to take about an hour to get done. So I'm just going to hang out in the Land Cruiser here until that's done. And then we're going to head into town and grab some dinner. And then I'm going to figure out where I'm going to sleep tonight. Still kind of up in the air. I haven't decided if I'm going to try and camp somewhere, if I'm going to call a friend, if I'm just going to grab a hotel or an Airbnb, although it's getting a little late for booking Airbnbs for the day. But that's what I'm going to do while I'm sitting here waiting for my laundry to get done. All right, good morning, guys. As you can see, we're already on the move for the day. I'm just going to be hanging out in the valley, driving up the highway north. Maybe not quite as far as the Talkeetna Spur. If the weather was nice, I would have driven up to try and see the mountain, but obviously you're not going to be able to see it today. Yeah, we'll see where the day takes us. I'm just going to kind of wander around and look at all these different areas because there's property for sale all over up here, and I just kind of want to look at the neighborhoods and the areas. I don't have any place specific, so I'm just going to do a lot of like wandering around. Anyway, first thing this morning is I'm actually headed up Hatcher Pass. I've never driven up here, and I know the weather's not the greatest, but like I mentioned in one of those older clips, I actually like driving around when the weather's a little grumpy. I don't know, I think it makes things look really cool, like that mountain kind of shrouded in cloud and fog up there. I think it looks really cool. So anyway, we're gonna go see what there is to see up here, and we'll bring you guys along. Headed up into the clouds. gonna drive up to Independence Mine here, because I've never been here, and it sounds fun. Let's go check it out. Alright guys, I'm not really gonna go exploring the mine today. I'll come back when I've got more time sometime. Take the full tour, hike up to the other buildings and stuff. What an area. Mines are always in the most scenic spots. Alright, here we go. Alright guys, we're walking out a little bit here on the Hatcher Pass summit. See what there is to see. Watch where I'm walking. I almost tripped over a huge boulder. That would have been fun. I don't know if that's the road down there or not. No, it's not. We're gonna go that way. Look at it. There's a waterfall over there and a little switchback hiking trail to go to the top of the mountain there. Not gonna hike that today. It's a little chilly. Car said it's currently 43 degrees outside, breezy, and it's raining, but it feels a little slightly more solid than just rain. That I got hit by a snowflake there a minute ago. Yeah, I'll walk back to the truck and keep on going down the Hatcher Pass Road here, see what there is to see. I was a little worried about this road since it's not paved, but it's in actually better shape than some of the paved roads I've driven on this week. It's getting the Land Cruiser dirty, but it's a pretty nice road here. All right, down out of the pass and onto the paved road now. I passed Mr. John's place, but he is gone at the moment. And yeah, we're headed down. It was a fun drive. Hope you guys enjoyed the little bit of scenic clips that I put in there. Another interesting thing is I saw yesterday online that Simple Living Alaska is selling their Willow property. I did drive by it. They're obviously not there anymore. They've moved to a different part of the state. But it's a lot smaller than they did a really good job, I think, over the years of making their property seem bigger than it actually is. And also not getting their neighbors in their shots either. Like that place is not as remote as they would have led you to believe, which is I think good, because at least they did a good job of keeping their neighbors out of their videos, which I'm sure the neighbors appreciated. Yeah, they've got neighbors like just across the street and then right on the other side, the back side of their property. Like
So I found that was really interesting. Anyway, I drove by it. Wish I could afford to buy it, but I imagine they're gonna, with how it's priced, I imagine they're gonna get a bunch of cash offers for it, and yeah, I don't have that much cash. So anyway, I just thought that was kind of fun, a little bit interesting, and yeah. So now that I'm back on the pavement, I'm just gonna drive around and look at places that I've seen for sale, areas where I've seen properties for sale. Not, like I said, not looking at anything specific, just kind of wandering around, you know, getting the feel for the areas. Up here in Hatcher Pass would be fun, but there's not really anything for sale in my price range up here right now. But we'll see. We'll see. Something road again, something on it, something. And he ran away. Tiny little mouse shrew rat thing. It's just running around right here. All right, good morning, guys. It is Friday morning. As you can see, we are once again already on the road. Yesterday, I just spent all day driving around various parts of Willow. As you saw, I drove through Hatcher Pass, and then I drove up to Caswell Lakes and drove almost every major road up through there, just kind of getting a feel for that. Went and drove around a couple of more neighborhoods in Willow, places where I've seen land for sale in the past. May not have land for sale right now, but places where I've seen it come up in the past frequently. Drove by a few friends' houses. They didn't know I was there because I didn't stop to say hi. I was just driving down their street. Yeah, it was a fun day yesterday. I was kind of wandering around and driving some of these roads and areas that I had never seen, and looking at some of the land and stuff. And then last night I drove all the way down into the Nancy Lake recreation area and stayed at, I can't remember the name of the campground now. I'll have to put it up on screen for you. But it's at the very end of the road. Nice little campground. Lots of people there, actually. That's the only night of camping on this trip where there was that many people around me. So that was interesting, especially when there was a carload of ladies that showed up at like midnight and were using their very loud outside voices while they were setting up their tent at like midnight. Yeah, don't do that. That was so annoying. Anyway, so yeah, now I'm getting an early start-ish, earlier than I had been the last few days. I got up at about 7:30. It's about, well, I woke up at about 7:30. And now it's 8:45 and I'm on the road, and actually today I'm headed down to the cabin. I'm going to help the owner's oldest son move some trees. He's been just a tree felling maniac this summer. He's spending all summer up here, and he's just been cutting down all the trees around the property. So I want to go see what was up. They finally did get the new wood stove installed too, so I kind of want to go see that. And I told him I would help him lug some of the trees around the property that he's been felling. So it should be fun. And then today is my last full day up here on the trip. I fly out of Anchorage tomorrow at 7:30 p.m. So I got to figure out how I'm going to drop off this rental Land Cruiser and get a ride back to the airport and stuff still. But I, once again, like my February trip, I splurged for a first class ticket on the way home, because if I got to be sad about leaving my Alaska trip, might as well do it in style. So that's what's going on. We'll head on down the road and I'll bring you guys along. Why is this highway like this? Not even out of Anchorage. It's a pretty nice day down here on the peninsula. It's the first truly sunny, rain-free day of almost the entire trip. I take it back. There was a couple nice days, I guess, when I was out in the eastern part of the state. But it's really nice. The Land Cruiser says it's 61 degrees outside. Nice and sunny. Anyway, we are not too far away from the cabin, so I'll see you guys there. Alright guys, here we are. Driving up the drive to the cabin. Alright guys, I'm at the cabin. Lots going on here today. The owner and his oldest son and a couple more people are here, so I'm probably not going to do any filming. But if anything interesting happens and I'm able to film it, I'll let you know. Alright, got you guys in wide angle mode, but this is the little circle driveway at the front of the cabin. As you can see, the oldest son's been going to town, cutting down all this stuff. The rest of these are going down too. These 3 or 4 that are still standing, because they're end of the month, they're having a bunch of dirt work done here. What they're gonna do is flatten this whole circle out and fill it in using all the dirt from right here. They're gonna make a nice big parking area right here for turning RVs around and letting family park more easily and get into the cabin more easily. Alright guys, sitting down inside the cabin for a minute. See, some stuff has changed in here. They've got a new upright freezer. There's a sink. Got rid of the bunk beds that were here. You got a new set of bunk beds upstairs. But the big thing is they've got this big Blaze King stove in here now. And they say it's just working absolutely fantastically for them. So yeah, just a little bit of rearranging and the new stove. That's really all that's changed here in the inside for now. All right guys, good morning. As usual, I am once again already on the road. I stayed overnight at the Alaska cabin where I was at last year. Super fun, hung out with the owner, my sister-in-law's dad, and his oldest son, the same one that was there last year. We felled more trees and hauled more logs and hung out. The son made some really good food last night, super good. Then yeah, I slept in I actually still slept in the rooftop tent on this Land Cruiser. But it was nice to just have a spot to park that I didn't have to pay for, and got to hang out and do some work and get some food. So yeah, unfortunately today's the last day. It's Saturday, and I am driving back from the cabin back up to Anchorage, and then I gotta go drop off this Land Cruiser and try and get an Uber out to the airport. My flight's not until later tonight. I'm kind of headed up a little early. I don't care if I have to hang out at the airport for a few hours, but I want to leave plenty of time to wait for the Uber if I have to. So anyway, it's been a really fun trip, although yesterday I was kind of chilling outside in front of the cabin and just got the feeling, I was like, you know what? I'm ready to go home. I'm ready to go back to my bed, go back to my stuff, go back to my bathroom. I think 10 days was just about a perfect trip, and I'm ready to be back with my stuff. I think it would be different if I had an RV and was tooling around in an RV, but just driving around in somebody else's SUV in a rooftop tent that I don't quite fit in properly without all my stuff, I'm just ready to be done. I'm ready to go home. So anyway, we're gonna keep on driving up the Seward Highway here towards Anchorage, and I'm gonna fill up the Land Cruiser when I get there with gas, so it's nice and full of gas when I drop it off at the guy's house. And then we're gonna head to the airport. So that's the plan. Unless traffic up here has other ideas. We'll see. Found the source of the slow traffic. It's like some wood transporting trucks or something. It is, once again, an absolutely beautiful day. Up here last year, there was a lot of road construction through here. They were rebuilding this bridge and everything. Seemed to be all done. It's pretty nice. Well, stuck in traffic. Good thing I left the cabin a bit early just in case. Google says it's gonna take me an hour to get to the South Anchorage Costco from here. Not a bad view out there though for getting stopped on the highway for who knows how long. At least I got cell service too. Oh yeah, just checked the Alaska 511 site. There's a crash just south of Potter's Marsh. Expecting the highway to be closed for several hours. Yay. I sat there for about 20 minutes. And we're moving again. I was chatting with the family that's in the truck in front of me. Don't know if we're moving because they're letting people through the highway closure or because so many people have turned around that we can now move forward a bit. Who knows? There was a couple of tour buses that headed the other way, but don't know if they were going north or going south. We'll see. They've moved up about a half a mile or so, but it looks like we're going to be stopping up here again. Here's an update. It's currently 2:30. So I've been sitting here for an hour and a half or so. We've moved up maybe 3/4 of a mile, but only because that's the amount of people that have turned around and headed back the other way. We're still saying, people that drove by saying that law enforcement says it'll be 4 to 6 hours. Yay! My flight's supposed to leave at 7:30, and I still have to drop this truck off in Eagle River and then get a 30-minute Uber back. So we'll see what happens. This is the current stuck spot. Sorry, it's a little windy, but not too bad. And there's all the traffic. Exciting as the one earlier. That's just the regular Alaska Railroad train. The one that came by an hour or so ago was the cruise passenger train, and everybody was out on deck on the train, and everybody in this line of cars was waving, and the train was honking. It was pretty fun. Anyway, I've got you guys zoomed as far in as my phone will go, but between that Jayco motorhome, this VO trailer with that truck between them, you can see there's a little bit of highway there, and I've been seeing cars moving through there. That's a couple miles in front of me. So hopefully that means good things. See, there they go. There's a bus that just started moving up there. You can see it moving behind that no left turn sign. Yay! We've got traffic headed the other way, boys. It's possible this is traffic that is turning around, but you never know. Seems to be a lot if it's just people that turned around. We'll see. Finally moving again. Yeah, I'm convinced now that they're letting people through because there's a fueler coming through here. There's no way he could have turned around. Possible they got one lane open. They may just be letting some from one direction go and some from the other direction go. We moved up quite a bit, so we'll see. Sorry, I gotta have the windows open because I'm not idling the Land Cruiser because it uses too much gas and I've got less than half a tank. But yeah, they opened up the southbound lanes, but the northbound lanes are still closed because they're removing vehicles out of the way. And I do not know why the Anchorage PD doesn't know how or have the ability to alternate traffic if only one lane can be open. Like, come on, guys. That's ridiculous. Yay for the southbound people, but like, you had enough time. Bring down some lights, do something. Give equal chances to both lanes if you know that the northbound is going to be closed for an extra hour while you finish cleaning up, but the southbound lanes can keep going. Like, that's ridiculous. You guys are probably tired of Matt stuck on the Seward Highway updates, but southbound traffic has stopped again. So who knows what that means. Ooh, movement up there on the highway, boys. Alright guys, I think we're finally on the move for good. I have not seen the traffic backing up and stopping up there. It just continually is going around the corner, so hopefully we're good to go into Anchorage now. I did, I'm not sure if I mentioned it in a past clip, but I did rebook my flight. There's no way it takes off in an hour, and there's no way I was going to make it. And I'm glad I did, because they were able to find me a spot on a flight tomorrow that leaves at 11 p.m. and it's a direct, so I don't have a layover in Seattle anymore. My original flight today, I was going to have a 7-hour layover in Seattle, but now I'm flying out tomorrow night, and it's going to be a direct red-eye overnight, straight from Anchorage to Salt Lake. So yeah, that didn't cost me anything, but I did book a last-minute Airbnb nearby to the airport. Had pretty good reviews. It was a little pricey, but not nearly as pricey as trying to find a last-minute hotel room. Some of the hotel rooms, they wanted a lot of money for a night tonight. So I was happy to find a place to stay, so I don't have to just camp out in the airport for a day. But anyway, now I'm gonna stop at the first gas station because I need to fill up the Land Cruiser here for the owner, and then I need to drive out to Eagle River to return it, and then see if I can get an Uber back to the Airbnb. So that's the plan. Let's see if anything changes. Yeah, we're stopped again, and there's a bunch of southbound traffic coming, so they must be alternating the lanes up there. All right, this might be the final update finally. Final update number 3, but we seem to be moving pretty good. Southbound traffic's flowing by good now, so they must have the highway 100% open. But we'll see. If you see another update after this that's me in the truck still, then you'll know that I was wrong once again. Alright, we're now passing bunches of stopped southbound traffic, and we're past where the accident was. I didn't even see where it could have been or what, and I was looking. Some Anchorage PD did a good job cleaning up. Maybe that's why it took them so dang long to open the highway up. It's because they were busy doing who knows what to the road, because I did not see nary a sign of accident back there. Not even a speck of glass on the road. So anyway, yeah, I think we're through it now. Oh man, bunches of cruise passengers. We're passing all these buses with cruise passengers that are trying to go to Seward to catch the boat. Oh, that sucks for them. But yeah, anyway, we should be on our way into town now. Alright guys, if I look tired, it's because I am. And I'm bush, and my hair is a mess, and this angle makes me look fat, but I don't care. So yeah, total time stuck on the Seward Highway was 5 hours, and then when I got into Anchorage, I stopped at a gas station to use the facilities, and then put gas in the Land Cruiser, and then I had found an Airbnb to stay in tonight, because I don't remember if I mentioned it in another clip, but I rebooked my flight for tomorrow night. So I needed a place to stay tonight, so I found this Airbnb that's in Midtown. It's pretty nice. I'm in it right now. But when I got here, the code that they gave me in the Airbnb app for the door keypad wasn't working. And then the hosts were not responding to messages. I tried calling them multiple times and they were not responding. So I sat outside the Airbnb for an hour until one of the neighbors showed up, and he was like, "Hey, are you trying to get in there? Do you need help?" I said, "Yeah." I said, I live here, but I know the owner of that Airbnb. He lives right upstairs." It's like, "Let me go get him." So he went and got him, and he came down. And he was mad. And he tried calling the host, which turns out it's one of his daughters that does the hosting on Airbnb for him. But so he tried calling her. She wasn't picking up, so he called a couple of other people. Finally got through to someone that knew what the current door code was and was able to let me in. So I was able to drop off my stuff, and then I drove out to Eagle River so I could drop off the Land Cruiser. That went swimmingly, actually. I dropped off the Land Cruiser at the guy's house, and I just parked it in his driveway like he asked me to. And then opened up the Uber app, and there was an Uber driver just starting his shift that was a half a block away from the guy's house, because the Uber driver lives there too. So that worked out super well. The guy came over to pick me up. I was like, "Hey," he was like, "Hey," and I was like, "Hey, I was so glad that you were out here and able to give me a ride." And he said, "Yeah, I actually was just starting my shift for after dinner, because apparently he brought somebody out to Eagle River and then went home because he just lives right there, and had dinner with his family, and then he was picking up more rides." So it worked out great for him too, because he was able to get a revenue ride back into town from his house. So super chatty guy. He's a Latino guy. He's from Florida originally, and he and his family moved up to Anchorage 9 months ago. He's a carrier for the Postal Service during the week, and then drives Uber on the weekends so that they can make double mortgage payments on their house to try and get stuff paid off faster and get a little bit ahead. Which I was like, "Go get him, guy. You got this." Super nice guy. Said they loved last winter, even though it was super heavy up here in Alaska this year. They just loved all the snow. All right, sorry about that cutoff. Got a phone call. It was my pizza getting delivered. The guy apparently didn't read the delivery instructions. He didn't know what unit it was, even though I put it in the order. Anyway. Yeah, so the Uber driver was super friendly, and then I got dropped off here. I'm obviously in the Airbnb, and I ordered an emotional support pizza because it's been a day, and I am starving. And yeah, so I'm gonna eat all the pizza and watch all the YouTube, and then sleep in, and then go hang out in the Anchorage airport for 12 hours because I have to be out of the Airbnb at 11 and my flight at 11 a.m. and my flight does not leave until 11 p.m. Fortunately, I am flying first class, and I think, at least last time I looked, first class passengers could get a discounted day pass to the Alaska Lounge. So I'm gonna see if that's still a thing. I need to look that up. I hope it's a thing. Because that would be great. I would much rather hang out in the lounge for 12 hours than just hang out in the terminal for 12 hours. So we'll see. Anyway, pizza's here and it's hot, and I'm going to eat it and enjoy the rest of my evening. So we will catch you guys in the morning. Thanks for coming along with me on this trip back to 2024 and my 10 days I spent in Alaska. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up, leave me a comment, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and we'll catch you guys in the next one.